Any other questions? Red meat. Is red meat good for you? Sure. What's the big deal about the color of meat? Red meat got a bad name because it's higher in cholesterol to a certain degree than white meat. But it's also higher in a lot of minerals and vitamins as well. Now, it's also gotten a bad name because of mad cow disease. And I'm not saying that the meat that we get in the supermarket is necessarily that good, because they're feeding, let's look at what they feed the cows, by the way, and the pigs and the chickens. Corn-fed beef. Why do they feed the beef corn? Cheap feed and fat cows, right? Why do they feed the beef soy? Cheap feed and fat cows. So if you want to have a fat cow, feed it corn and soy. If you want to have a fat human, feed it corn and soy. So they're also giving a lot of hormones to the beef, and the beef is sick because it's sick for the same reason that humans get sick eating this stuff, so they give it antibiotics, and now you're eating this sick animal. So I try to buy my foods, I try to get organic or at least free-range beef. In fact, I feel like I'm doing a ShopRite commercial, but I go to ShopRite, they have Australian free-range beef there, and it's actually cheaper a lot of times than the regular beef. It's a lot tougher than the regular beef. It tastes different. But that's what I eat. I eat a lot of red meat, actually. Another question?
How about sushi?
Sushi, raw fish. Very good stuff, right? Has, it's not processed. It's not cooked at all. Fantastic. Raw meat is very, very good. Okay, now there's a lot of agencies out there that will warn you, don't eat raw meat, don't eat raw fish. It contains bacteria. Well, if it's containing bacteria, you don't want to eat it even if it's cooked anyway. So stay away from it. Yes? Kosher meat. Yeah, I think the kosher meat in general is probably less processed than the regular commercial meat. Honey is extraordinarily high in fructose. So I would recommend that you stay away from sweet things. People love sweet things. Oh, I just want to put something in my mouth that's sweet. Oh, I need something sweet in my mouth. I've heard people say this all the time. They're addicted to sugar. They're addicted to sweets. Water is so boring, Doc. Let me tell you, water tastes great. But if you drink sweet drinks all the time, water tastes boring. If there's a lot of noise in the room, you can't hear somebody whisper. Okay, so the sugar is just like a lot of noise. You can't taste other foods become boring when there's no sugar. The question is, what do we do about acid-base balance in the blood, and is it important? Well, it's extraordinarily important. If you don't have the proper acid-base balance in your body, nothing's going to work correctly. In medicine, we check acid-base balance in the emergency department and in the intensive care unit, but it's something that's really not looked at very closely until the very end where someone's critically ill. And so you don't go from being healthy to about to die without being somewhere in between, right? I mean, that would only make sense. So there are more subtle acid-base imbalances that people experience that lead to symptoms, actually, and are being caused by things that can be looked at and fixed. Now, there's a notion out there in the health food industry and the health food store notion that everybody's too acidic and we all need to be more alkaline. Have you heard that? Okay. Okay. I can tell you that there are plenty of people that are too alkaline, there are plenty of people that are too acidic, and there's some people that are actually balanced. This notion that we're all too acidic, and if we just could become alkaline, we can cure every disease, is a bunch of hogwash. If that was the case, go to the supermarket, buy yourself a box of Arm & Hammer baking soda, and eat a bunch of it, and you will cure every disease I'm kidding. Okay? This will not work. I can tell you I've had patients in my practice that were extremely alkaline. Now, how did I know this? Well, there are actually methods of testing people's acid-base balance based on some physiology. I can tell you one patient I had in particular, she could hold her breath for almost forever. And as we hold our breath, we actually become more and more acidic. We retain carbon dioxide. And she was breathing at a rate of about 2 or 3 breaths a minute. So by looking at the ratio between how fast she was breathing and how long she could hold her breath, I determined that she was extremely alkaline. And I gave her things to help acidify her, and she actually improved significantly in her symptoms. She was actually about to be committed to an insane asylum for schizophrenia. And the alkalinity in her blood was essentially driving her crazy. So yes, to answer your question, absolutely it's very important. But don't buy into this, everybody needs to be more alkaline, we're all too acid stuff. Maybe you could say, oh, well, eating meat's going to make you acid, etc. Well, eat the vegetables as well, and they'll keep you balanced. The question is microwave cooking actually bad, just the microwaves themselves? I didn't really talk about, the focus tonight was on nutrition, but there's also imbalances in energy that are poisonous as well. And these microwaves are very, very bad. That's why you can't have a pacemaker and walk by there. We have electricity running our bodies all the time. We don't want to be subjected to these frequencies. They're extremely disruptive to how our body works. I threw out my microwave several years ago and pissed a few people off, but I don't want it in my house.
Is canned vegetable juice, is that kind of as effective in terms of the alkalinity and the antioxidants?
Canned vegetable juice?
Yeah, like V8 or something.
Stay away from things in cans. It's obviously processed. It's got lots of excessive sodium in there, but the other thing is the metal from the can is getting into your juice. It's very bad. You don't want to be eating these metallic products. There's probably a lot of aluminum in those cans. Aluminum, as I mentioned before, is very, very toxic. It can lead to high blood pressure, stroke, heart attacks. It's very, very bad for us. It is generally regarded as safe, but that doesn't make it safe.